Chapter 5, Pipelines, Section 1, Introduction. Militarization Standardization Handbook, Petroleum Operation Military Handbook 201B. Chapter 5, Pipeline, Section 1, Introduction. General, the pipelines provide the most efficient means of moving the petroleum over land, although the initial construction cost of the pipeline is relatively high. Operating costs are relatively low. Longer the pipeline remains in use, the lower it becomes the unit of the cost of moving petroleum. Pipelines are constructed and or were used by military when the need arises for the move of the large volume of petroleum product with the other particular area with the extent of the period of time of the two general category of the military pipeline system. Intra-terminal and the inter-terminal pipeline system, the inter-terminal pipeline system used within the bulk petroleum, the depot of the interconnect, storage tank of the tanker, loading, unloading facility, rail tanker cover, the tank truck, reloading, unloading facility, the drum filling facilities, some cases pumping of the station, inter-terminal pipeline system, the system a permit, receive, storage, and issue the bulk of the petroleum in the bulk form. They are normally designed to operate with the pressure of the 100 psi and are frequently called lower pressure pipeline systems. Section pipe may be welded coupled may be in place with above the below ground, although the above the ground the installation preferred for ease of the maintenance. Alright, 5.3, inter-terminal pipeline system. Inter-terminal pipeline system with the connection to bulk more terminal to the depot over the means of this system. The bulk petroleum products can be moved over a long distance from port terminals inland with a section of the pipe either they're welded or placed below the ground with a permanent installation of the coupled and laid on the top of the ground as temporary with the installation of these systems are designed to operate with the pressure of the 1000 psi, more of the welded line with the 600 psi with a more coupled line, but they are often referred as high pressure systems. Alright, Section 2, common character for the pipeline equipment in general. 5.4, although pipelines are essential for the piping through the bulk petroleum flow of the pumps which furnish the force of the to move the petroleum valve to which flow with the control of the side of the position, design capacity. Each of the items of the equipment is determined the design of the construction criteria of the system as a whole. 5.5, Principle of Operation and Maintenance. Basic principle of the pipeline operation maintenance are generally common with all pipeline systems. Detailed operation and maintenance procedures must be developed at each of the system and taken into account with the design mission with the availability of the personnel and spare parts. For equipment, each military department is responsible for the preparation, detailed operating of the maintenance procedure for the pipeline system and for which it is responsible. Section 3, Intra-terminal pipeline system. Section 5.6, these systems are an integral part of the bulk terminal depot. Detailed coverage of this operation is contained in Chapter 4. Section 3, detailed coverage of maintenance is covered in Chapter 6 and Section 3. Section 4, inter-terminal pipeline system. Sections 5, 7, the general, since inter-terminal pipelines use the connection move the bulk petroleum product between the depot and the terminal, it is essential for the terminal pipelines to be considered together with a single coordinated system. Principles are applied to the planning for such a system as well as the operation, maintenance, pipeline communication normally with electrical means of the telephone, teletype, radio, message communications, air, motor, walking patrol are also used. 5.9, operational control of the system, military pipeline tank with a pump for the tubing with a single flow system using contained with several million gallons for the fuel process for the transport. Operation of the system is handled as a unit under the direction of the chief of the pipeline dispatcher. The chief pipeline dispatcher normally located at the base, seaport, terminal, pipeline headquarters, etc. with a certain control over the type of the quantity of the destination of all the fuels pumped through the system, the control of the starting with the topping of all the pump operations. He is provided with a continuous exclusive with the communication of all the pipeline installation operating units as a function, includes scheduling weekly and monthly schedule of the fuel delivery based on phase petroleum requirements. Records of the chief dispatcher receive the annualized hourly reports of the pumping station, the tank farm, the dispensing station of the installation, all fuel receipts and deliveries and supplies and storage. Alright, 5.10, procedure for the delivery to the pipeline. Before fuel is drawn from the storage for delivery through the pipeline, when the first sample is tested by the laboratory personnel upon receipt of the clearance for the laboratory of the fuel contained with the particular storage tank of the meets for the specification, the chief dispatcher may schedule in the tank with the tank for fuel delivery. Single product delivery, the quantity of the clearance is received by the chief dispatcher. He schedules the definite time of the start of the tender of the batch for the fuel for the tank of the group of the tanks through the first pumping station. Alright, batch 2 and more products from the 2 or more different types of the fuels are handled with a successfully same pipeline with the dispatcher must schedule the successive fuel tenders in proper order. They have the must provide information if the pumps are safe delivery at the point known to the time of the arrival of the amount of the route and destination of each tender. Batching order. Success of the tenor of the fuel will have with approximately the same gravity with the size of the transmix of the volume of the contained with the fuel interface with the service. Successful tenors is then a minimum the greater difference of the gravity with the greater volume of the transmix. Water is not even to separate the products because of the greater difference in the gravities between water and petroleum products. The fuel should be pumped preferably in the front of the behind with the next fuel with the following list: aviation, gasoline, motor gasoline, jet fuel, kerosene, diesel fuel, distillated fuel, oil, however the fuels can run in any sequence. Dispatching information. The chief dispatcher control for the movement of all the tenders at the starting point of the delivery points, determine the location of the interface between the tender of the velocity flow with the worksheet, but they inform all the particular pipeline installation, estimated time of the arrival of each of the pumping station, tank farm, and the other installation concerned. Information incident include the type of the product with the color, of the gravity of the volume suggestion, other than transmission of dispatching information as follows: type of the product with the repump, with the route, with the destination to be tendered, volume of the fuel to be in tenor, of the time of the tender that is scheduled to be started, time of the head of the tail of the tenor that is scheduled to arrive at each installation, identification data with the color of the gravity disposition, mix plug, any other instruction required for the mixed product, the operation. R511, procedure for the receiving them from pipelines. When notification received for the pipeline shipment has been scheduled with the supervisor in charge of the receiving the terminal to check for the receiving the tanks to see that there's sufficient room for the tender for that the tanks are clean. He notifies the dispatcher for any reason deliver must be deferred. Interface is identified with each of the intermediate station by gravity color. Check with the dispatcher for the notified with the teletype with the type of the passenger for the all pertinent data with the arrival of the new tender with the switch with the appropriate direction by simultaneously out of the closing valve of the former grade of the fuel opening the valve with the flow of the new tender. Dispatchers will notify the receiving terminal of the disposition of the interfacial mixture of the slop of the tanks into the storage wall per minimum effect of the fuel properties are incurred. Alright, 512 operating reports for the field equipment with the pipeline system that account for the hourly telephone type, teletype reports of the tanker gauge who measure the fluid and content of each of the tankers and system. 513 flow management. Generally, the flow of the tanks and pump with the guidelines control of the block valve located with appropriate portions to be able to direct flow through the desired station. Personnel must be thoroughly familiar with the layout of all the pipe manifold valves at the station. Identification lines of valve. Each pipeline should be numbered and shall carry the same number throughout the length. Each of the stations shall be constructed according to the standard layout. All connection gate valve of the manifold pumps and tanks associated with the installation should be numbered. One of the copy stay layout plan complete with the competent numbers of it should be kept with the chief of the dispatcher. One copy should be kept at the station. Pipeline should be color coded in accordance with the military standard 161. Identification map of the bulk petroleum product system, the standard of the mandatory for use of the military departments. 514 pipeline patrol. The main purpose of the patrol is to detect the actual potential leak of the brakes in the line. Secondarily, patrol serve with the discard, sabotage, pilferage. Patrol schedules are irregular, so the saboteurs of the thieves cannot count on the free time of their purpose. Breaks in line with a major leak that usually detect with fairly quickly with the pump station operators from the suction discharge pressure readings more quickly with the charge with the normal sound of the pump of the engine. Station operators should investigate the immediately unexpected unfamiliar sounds. Minor leak of the points over the leak for the brakes or if the leak likely to develop or detected with the oil seep of dead vegetation reported with the pipeline patrol. The method of the pipeline patrol include walking, motor vehicle, and airplane. 515 pipeline maintenance. Prior patrolling with the pipelines often discover the potential danger of the points before serious damage occurs. The proper maintenance prevents serious breaks and losses of fuel. For the patrol, prepare with the crews must be alert with the critical crossing of the area with the line damage may be expected. 516 pipeline repairs. Major repairs to large, complex for the operational personnel usually performed with a specialized maintenance crew under direct direction of the maintenance supervision. 517 pipeline cleaning. Foreign materials accumulated during the construction repair obstruction may be to block with the line with the cuff of considerable trouble for reducing efficiency of the pumping. In addition, over a period of time, this inside surface of the pipe becomes roughened through the corrosion, increasing the friction loss. Decreasing pipeline capacity. Pigs and scrapers are utilized to clean the interior pipeline, but generally scheduled to be able to run through the pipelines periodically intervals only on a as needed basis. Chapter 6, Tanker Farm Operational Maintenance.